Evening all, welcome to the match day preview for another game. It seems like there's a game every 5 minutes. Leeds in action again Friday night at 8 p.m. kickoff against Sheffield Wednesday. Andrew Dalton, aka LUFC Stats, back in the house. Andrew, how are you, mate? What's been going on with you?
Yes, not too bad. I think I've seen you more than I've seen my own family the last
Same,
few
mate.
days.
Same.
Another game 3 days later, and off we go again. I'm all right. I've got kind of a big day coming up tomorrow, and something that I want to just touch upon before we do get into the football stuff. 12 years ago tomorrow is the anniversary of my suicide attempt. Something I'm not proud of, but I'm still here to tell the tale, and without the support of a lot of people, certainly with certainly Andy's Man's Club, my partner Emma, all my friends and family, all my colleagues at work as well, who have given me sort of the right direction. And I just feel that mental health, certainly in men, is certainly 12 years ago, was such a taboo subject, and I was going through a very, very dark time at that particular point. I was sort of going through a hard time certainly with work, and I was sort of being bullied at work at that particular juncture. And I felt that morning, I can remember it vividly, Ger, that I didn't want to be here. And I know this is a very uplifting channel, this is all about football, but I think it's important, if you are suffering, don't suffer in silence. There is always someone to talk to, whether it be a small problem, whether it be a big problem. Pick up the phone, send someone a message. There's always someone there to talk to. And I've even spoken to Samaritans at times when it has been really tough. So, yeah, just sort of a heads up. If anyone's struggling, pick up the phone, message people, talk to people. Mental health, I suffer a lot from anxiety and depression. Thankfully, I've not had too many bad days in the last year or so. And yeah, just I wanted to touch upon that very briefly. And I know we're going to do an interview, possibly in the international break, over sort of my story about it. So, yeah, just wanted to touch on that, and raring to go again 3 days later after another game against Stoke City on Tuesday evening.
It is a football channel, and we do try to be positive, but there are more important things than football, and it is worth talking about. And it is important to say when you've got a platform and you've got people watching, just to say you're never alone. You're never, ever alone. There's always somebody. Always look for help. Always ask for help. Always look at. I've had my own battles with it. I had a bit of a breakdown a couple of years ago as well, and I said, and I'm lucky again, same as you, have got a very strong support network. But some dark days as well. So we all go through it. Men are very bad at talking about their mental health, and we should get better at it. And a big shout out to Andy's Man Club. I know the Square Ball have done some fantastic work with Andy's Man Club as well, making people aware of that as well. It's a terrific group that do some fantastic work across the UK and specifically in Leeds with the group there. So, yeah. Well, I'm very glad that you're still with us, mate. And I can tell you, there's a lot of people out there who are very happy that you're still here, and you're a massive contributor to what the Leeds online community do, and you see it on match days as well, and what the work that you do at Ellen Road as well. So look, I'm grateful that I got to know you. I'm very, very grateful for that. So,
and I'm grateful and honoured to be on this channel every game, and something I love doing, and I'm very honoured to have been asked as well. So yeah, thank you very much.
I'm very happy to have you. There is some other stuff we want to get into before we get to the games. There is some other stuff that Andrew's been working on that I wanted to share with people as well. So I'm just going to get this popped up on the screen. There are people in the Leeds community who write books, and some very good books. Rocco Dean is one of the people that writes lots of them. But Andrew, you've written a couple as well and contribute to a few.
Yes.
And this is your latest one. The Forgotten Games is available to pre-order on Amazon for anybody who is interested in that. Do you want to talk a bit about that book, Andrew?
Yeah, it's weird. I finished the history book a couple of years ago for the centenary, and I was looking at other ideas of what I wanted to do and what was out there. And I came across a book online. Manchester United, we're not Man United fans, but Man United did a book called The Forgotten Games about all the friendly games, and it got me thinking that have Leeds ever done anything like that? And I've did a little bit of research, went to the local library, and just thought, hang on a second here, is it doable to go through the history of Leeds United to all the friendlies? So I got together a guy called Mark Ledyard, who's my co-author, who's done absolutely brilliant. We compiled a list of every friendly game from 1919 to the present day. We've managed to get every lineup from every game. There's been a lot of nights going through the library and what have you, and going through our newspapers, which is great fun. But when you wake up 3-4 in the morning and you're doing some writing, it can be quite difficult when you're balancing your job. And we just thought, well, we want to put it all together. And I got in contact with Pitch Publishing, a guy called Paul Camlin, who I've written with before. John Howe and myself. John is a very, very good author. Did the 100 Greatest Leeds United Players back in 2012. And I thought I'd tell him the idea. And lo and behold, you can see the front cover there with Gary Kelly, Ollie Dakor, amongst others. And we came up with the idea of putting like little brief match reports with every single lineup in a book. And there's some great names in there, the players that have played for Leeds United in friendlies and never actually made a first team appearance. And it's funny, Jay, the book actually started in my head years and years ago. I went to a friendly against Mansfield Town. We'd just been relegated from the Premier League back in 2004. And there was a Dutch guy called Brian Tev Redden, who I remember seeing him on the team sheet thinking, who on earth is this? He lasted 20 odd minutes. He got, actually tell a lie. He came on as a sub. I think he lasted 20 odd minutes and he was never seen again as on the first flight back to Holland. And from that moment onwards, I've always been interested in try lists. Yeah. And there's so many players out. There's we had a guy called Rodrigo who played for Everton that played in the 2003-04 season. Players such as Joel Sammy and Sebastian Rusto who also played in the 2003-04 season. And there's some great names in there, especially in 07-08 when literally Leeds were on the verge of going bust until sort of Ken Batesbury brought them back. They went to play York and Shelbourne with a team of trialists, people like Russell Fry and Jamie Mullen and Graham Coughlin, I think, played in a couple of games. Yeah. Even Luciano Becchio was a trialist once upon a time in Ireland in 2008. So it's amazing how as well. Yeah, absolutely, how players' careers kind of started, and it just went from there. And it's been great fun to research. And there's players in the 70s and 80s that I wasn't even aware of. There was a guy called Jeliko, who was a Yugoslavian defender that played, I think, in a game against Grimsby in 83. And it's just little things like that we hope to jog people's memories about the history of Leeds United. It's something a bit different, a bit niche. And it's something I'm looking forward to being published. We just got the proofs back at the moment. So we're just going through the proofs over the next couple of weeks. And all being well, I'll be ready for June.
Great. There is one other thing that I wanted to just draw people's attention to, because you are involved with a quiz that's coming up at Ellen Road very, very soon. So I'm just going to grab that real quick and pop that up on the screen as well. For those interested in this, check this out. It's on March 27th, isn't it?
March 27th. It's all on my Twitter. We were going to do a quiz over Christmas and New Year, but unfortunately, we weren't able to in the international break. Wednesday, March the 27th, get down to Ellen Road. It's going to be a night of nostalgia. I've written 80 questions right from the 60s through to the present day with multiple different answers. So come down to have a good evening. Be at the Brem this week. Starts at 7 o'clock. It's teams of 5. The prices may change. I'm just waiting to confirm that. But it's an event for the Leeds United Foundation and the Leeds United Food Banks. And we're trying to raise as much money as possible. It'll be a really, really good evening. And I look forward to seeing you all there. So, yeah, very busy. Like to get kept busy. And a lot of things coming up. But obviously before then, we've got 2 very important games starting in the Yorkshire Derby against Sheffield Wednesday.
We do. We'll get into them as well. Stats, I wanted to talk to you about the Stoke game. I want to get your top line.
Yes.
What was it? What was your feeling of the game? I know I came away from going being a little bit disappointed in the performance, but also very glad that we'd gotten out with 3 points.
The way I look at it is, we're at this stage of the season, it's points over performance. You've played a lot of football, like a lot of teams have. And I think Southampton might feel this now, because obviously they had the postponement yesterday against Preston, and they don't play a week on Saturday because they're in the FA Cup. Sorry, Leicester City are in the FA Cup, who will be their opponents. And when you've done a lot of travelling and it's not just short travelling, it's long travelling, isn't it? From other side of the country to the likes of Plymouth, Bristol City, Swansea City, Chelsea. It's a long way to go. And I just thought it was important just to get that victory, to keep us going. And the only disappointment on the night, I left Ellen Road. It was 2-2 at Portman Road. I got back in my mum's car and Leif Davis had scored. So that was probably the only disappointing aspect of the night. It was a good win. We probably should have scored more. But at this stage of the season, points over performance. I think now it's vital to try and get 3 points tomorrow night and then beat Millwall and reassess. I know we've got a quarter of the squad going off to play for Wales in the playoffs.
For Wales.
Yeah, we've got a quarter of the
squad has gone to play for Wales.
Mental, isn't it? But yeah, points over performance. It's never going to be pretty. I thought Steven Schumacher came with a game plan. I thought they looked good at times, but I thought Leeds looked assured. And it might have been a little bit nervy towards the back end of the game, but it's another 3 points. And with 20 games unbeaten at Ellen Road, this in a season for the first time since January 1968, which is absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, it is. A lot of love in the chat, by the way, mate. A lot of people saying some very nice things about you. So, yeah,
brilliant. Thank you.
Nice to say. Thanks to everyone as well. Yeah, we've got a bit to get through. It is points over performances. It is very much get the job done, especially in this block of games, which has been very tiring. I mean, I think people also we can tend to forget that the pitches are quite heavy right now as well. They're wet. They're months of rain on these pitches. These lads are running around at a serious pace, and it does tend to take the energy out of the legs. Well, same on the training pitches as well. So you can get a little bit leggy. I think we did. I think there's probably some changes probably needed for the game on Friday night. I think he kept the substitutes as late as he possibly could in order to start those players maybe coming into the game on Friday, with the odd exception.
Yeah, I think Connor Roberts looked assured at right back, and
I
think Archie will be fresh going into Sheffield Wednesday. I won't be surprised to see Archie back in the centre midfield, and Connor keeps his place at right back. So it's a busy period. I think we'll be pleased to get tomorrow out of the way. I also expect Daniel Farker to be named Manager of the Month tomorrow. He's won every game. I don't think you can really do much more than that at the moment. So
2 in a row, and he'd be the first Leeds manager to do 3 in a season, won't he?
Yes, Bielsa did 2 in a season. I think Revy's done it, but there's no records anywhere of that apart from in the old Rothman's yearbooks. So that's something I'm going to try and have a look at tonight. Manager of the Month has been going since 1970, but obviously there's no records online and what have you. So, but yeah, I expect Farker to announce a month. And the curse, we've only ever, I think since 92-3, I worked this out, we've had 14 Manager of the Months. We've only lost 1 game when the manager's been Manager of the Month. That was David O'Leary against Arsenal between the Valencia Champions League semi-finals back in 2001. So, yeah, ready to go again. It will not be easy. Danny Roll has got Sheffield Wednesday playing some really, really good football. So, and they're coming off the back of back-to-back victories away at Rotherham at home to Plymouth Argyle on Tuesday night. But game, very much looking forward to be a big atmosphere at Hillsborough. And it's one hopefully the players can entice themselves into it and get another step towards the Premier League next season.
Yeah, there's some questions coming in for you. It's a big game. It is a big game, but every game between now and the end of the season, I keep saying, it doesn't matter about the opposition. Every game is a big game between now and the end of the season to get the job done. There are some questions that have come in for you. The one that keeps popping up over the week, and I saw it today, was, has there ever been a situation where all 3 teams that were relegated got promoted? And the answer is no.
No.
So we've finally got an answer today. Leeds, and this could be the very first season where all 3 go up, albeit all the teams that went down with us apparently cheated to do so. So, we're still dealing with that. Father, we're expecting Nottingham Forest's verdict this week or next week, sorry.
Yes.
And then Everton have a second one the week after, and then Leicester's situation will rumble on according to Athletic. It's not done yet. Yes. Another one to come with that as well. So Leeds kept their bib clean and dry for once, which I'm very, very happy of, because these things do tend to catch up on you. So,
just very quickly on that, then, what is the Leicester situation? Could they still lose points there?
So
obviously not this season.
From what I looked at, the loophole is half of the financial year that they're being questioned on was in the Premier League and half of it was in the Championship. So therefore, the Championship reduction in loss, which is 83 million, doesn't apply to them. So therefore, they don't have to submit a business plan. However, there is a second judgment that is being second committee meeting that is being held, where the league are adamant that they want Leicester to face some form of a sanction for a second set of financials that came in November 23rd, 2023. That hasn't been heard yet. That will be heard. However, it does look like if there is sanctions against Leicester, it'll be in the form of a fine should they get promoted to the Premier League. But there's also question marks that they may have breached financial fair play already in the Premier Division from the 2 seasons there, and they may be walking straight into a 6-point penalty deduction when they go back to the Premier League, or a penalty deduction if they stay in the Championship. So either way, Leicester's financial situation isn't great.
So basically, in a nutshell, I mean, Leeds and Southampton played fairly last season.
Yeah, and went down.
Yeah,
and the teams above them didn't.
Yeah, Forest and Everton.
Everton, Forest, and Leicester. Yeah,
be very interesting to see what happens with Everton and Nottingham Forest in the coming weeks, because it's going to be a mess towards the back end of the Premier League season, and that's not for us to worry about. If we're hopefully win it next season, but teams should be staying in FFP because it's there for all teams, and that's going to run and run.
It's the gaining a sporting advantage by breaching financial rules. That's the line. That's the line. That's key, and that's key in the lawsuits. I think that the clubs are bringing. Burnley, Southampton, and Leeds are bringing against the clubs. I think that's a key part of that. But
I'll just finish on that. I don't buy this. It's punishing the fans. 2007-8, 15 points. We didn't know if we were going to have a club at the start of August 2007 in League One. We had 15 points deducted, and actually is a real siege mentality.
If you're going to say it's punishing the fans, and the fans need to hold their club accountable.
Correct. Completely agree.
That's the way we look at it. The club have breached the rules. We've suffered from the decisions our club has made for years.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Plenty of that to go around. Andrew, there's a couple of questions come in. Big up to Steve Whitesnake's Pipes down in Renua, is it? Oh, God, I had it there a second ago. In New Zealand. Andrew and the rest of your supporters, do Leeds have the youngest side in the championship? Hope you're well, Steve, by the way.
I believe so. Yeah, I think actually great point brings that age right down. I think he's 18 next week. I think on the 12th of February. Sorry, 12th of March. Yeah, certainly. And I think that's good that we've got one of the youngest sides in the championship because it's like you've got no fear. And when you've got the likes of Archie Gray, Crescencio, Samuel, Willie Nonto's still quite young, you've got to remember. Joe Roden's not old. So, I think
Joe Pirro's not old.
Absolutely. Pirro's only 24. So I think Connor Roberts is probably one of the oldest we've got at the club at the moment, certainly in starting lineup at the moment. So I think that helps. You go into every game thinking you're going to win. So I like the youthful exuberance, and it kind of reminds you a little bit of David O'Leary's time when I hate using that terminology, babies, but he used it a lot. Yeah, he used it a lot, didn't he, back in the early millennium. So we had the likes of Stephen McPhail coming through, Jonathan Woodgate, Paul Robinson, Ian Hart. Him who shall not be named was a very good Australian left winger. So I like being one of the youngest teams in the championship. So it's a positive for me.
I had the lovely blue and yellow half shirt, and I unfortunately put that Australian's name and number on the back of it, so I no longer have that shirt, and I loved that shirt, and I don't have it anymore, and I hate the fact that I don't have it anymore, and I can't find it and get it anywhere. I've got replicas of it, but they're not as nice.
It's a great shirt, that. Is that the quartered one when you got yellow, blue?
Split down the middle, the half and half, and the half and half collar, so a real throwback to Leeds' early years with the half and half. I love that shirt. But yeah, unfortunately, I stuck the Aussie's name on the back of it, so when that happened, that went in the bin. So big shame. Couple of other questions coming in. Mark Edison, Ger, does Stats know whether whatever happened to give us a song? Andy Williams, great left foot. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
Not a song about Andy Williams. I think Andy Williams was a famous singer, wasn't he?
Yes, famous singer. Do we have a song that's one of Andy Williams' songs? I don't know actually. Mark, more information.
We did have an Andy Williams that did play for Leeds in the 89-90 season. It was one of Howard Wilkinson's first signings. So a bit of a left winger, played at Notts County and Rotherham. So I don't know if that's who he means. So
maybe give us a song, Andy Williams. He had a great left foot.
Yes.
Mark, more info. Stick some more info in the chat. I want to find out more about that because I don't know that myself. So stick whatever you know, pop it in. Joe's rent enforcer, Statsman, how many goals have we scored from corners in 23-24? Like 2.
God, Pascal Stewart against Ipswich. This is literally off the top of my head. Sam Barham against Watford back in
Liam Cooper
season. Liam Cooper against Watford.
Watford
against Cardiff City.
The
start of the season. I can't remember too many more. Set pieces at times is a bit of Achilles heel, and I keep getting asked when's the last time Leeds scored directly from a free kick. Now I thought they'd done it against Leicester, but Patrick Bamford obviously got a touch to that. Now the last time Leeds scored directly from a free kick was actually against Leicester City back in October. I'm just going to get this down in my head. October 2021, Rafinha, when he had it out from the right hand side in front of the south stand end, and it beat everybody and ended up in the back of the net. So going back a wee while from free kicks, but
I do admire attackers swagger when we get a free kick in the edge of the box. They all stand around, hands over the mouth, chatting about, and they're going, "This is going into the wall or going over the bar. This isn't going near the goal." At some point, someone's going to stick one. Dan James has had a better track record. I liked the free kick the other night that they did. They did it last year as well, last season.
Yeah, I like that.
A little short one, but you only get one of them in a game because then it's done, So he was desperately unlucky not to score on that one, Paddy. But
and of course, Ryan Hardy in the FA Cup got a touch, didn't he? We thought we would score directly from the corner, but Ryan Hardy got to that from Grove's cross, from Grove's corner to make it 4-1 in the FA Cup. So I think 3 or 4. This is literally off the top of my head, without even looking at things.
Yeah, we don't do enough. We don't score a lot. We really don't. It was less in the Premier League. Mark, that's the same song. I marked that. I've marked that twice. I've marked it twice, Mark. Anyway, here we go. We'll go back a little bit on the chat just to catch up. Let's have Archie as left back. Okay. How do West Yorkshire Retro Gamer? Paul Brennan, it's going to be a tricky match tomorrow night. Hopefully a win. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Fingers crossed. We'll crawl down. Yeah, Mark saying minus 25 points for Leeds in a few months just for the crack. Just for the crack.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
You're right, Stats. That's the guy you was talking about, the winger, the left-footed winger. He was in the late 80s, had a speech impediment.
Yes, he did. He did. Scored a couple of important goals against Leicester City in a 4-3 loss and a 2-1 victory over Watford a week later. So didn't get too many goals off to planted Andy Williams, but one of Harry Wilson's first signings for Leeds United.
When was the last time Leeds finished second and got promoted, Stats?
Last time we finished second, 2009-10. League One.
League One, yeah. But the championship is going back to Wilco's time, wouldn't it? Before Wilco's time.
Yeah, 63-4 we won the league. And I think you're going back to the 30s. Last time we finished second in the championship and got promoted. So, yeah, I want to say it's like 37-38. Or even, no, 55-56, I think it was. The last time we finished second and got promoted. So, there's still a title to be won. Yeah, that's not done yet.
The title. Let's keep going if we can't. Until it's impossible, let's keep going after it.
Absolutely.
Could Archie become number 10? Absolutely think Archie Gray could become number 10. Did play in the number 10 spot a couple of times from the 21 as well. I know Jesse Marsh did think he was definitely a number 10, but then you got to just be careful what you take with Jesse's recommendations. But yeah, he reckoned. There you go, Paul Brennan, 56, finished second. So yeah.
I was right then. I got it. Yeah, that's again off the top of my head.
Good shout, mate. Good shout. Right, we'll get into some information about the game. We'll start the rundown. Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday, Friday night kickoff, 8 p.m. Leeds' second game in the midweek block, which is nuts. Form guide-wise, Leeds 4 wins in their last 5 games, still unbeaten since the turn of the year. Third in the table currently, 2 points behind Ipswich in second, although that looked really close to being level or ahead of them at 2 different stages out during the week. We're 5 points behind Leicester, but could close that to 2 before they kick off at the weekend. And then again by next weekend, depending on results, we could actually go top before they kick a ball next week, depending on how this weekend goes. We are currently 6 points ahead of Southampton, who are down in 4th, but that is, they do have a game in hand. But we've been here before with Southampton. Points on the board over games in hand any day of the week. They've got a fixture congestion coming up with the Leicester game and the Southampton game now have to be squeezed in somewhere for them. So that is an issue that they have to deal with. From a Sheffield Wednesday perspective, one of the form teams in the league, Danny Rowell, is doing a cracking job since he's taken over there. 4 wins in their last 5 games, 4 wins on the spin for them as well. They are 23rd in the table, but they will come out of the relegation zone should they beat Leeds on Friday night. As I said, Danny Rowell has had a major impact on that team since he's come in, but also should be pointed out, Ian Poveda is getting called out on a regular basis as being a major impact for Sheffield Wednesday since he's gone there. Anything in the form guide worry you about the game on Friday, Stats?
I think it's going to be a similar game, isn't it, to the Huddersfield game last weekend. Danny Rowell has come in and Sheffield Wednesday are a little bit of a mess, I think, under Cisco Munoz at the start of the season. And everyone went Danny who at the time. And I always like to give credit if I can. And fair play to them. He's done an absolutely magnificent job at Hillsborough. I know they're still in the relegation zone, but as you say, looking at the bottom 6, 7 teams, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, obviously, Huddersfield lost last night to Cardiff City, having drawn the FA Cup final on Saturday, with all the fans thinking they'd won the game. QPR were denied a Stonewall penalty against West Brom last night. And it's just really bunched up. It's concertinaed up in the Championship at the bottom end. So, yeah, I think it'll be a really, really tough game. It's never easy going to Hillsborough. He's got to play some good stuff. He's got them resilient. He's got them hard to beat. And it won't be an easy game for Leeds tomorrow night. It'll be very similar. I think they'll be very similar to what Huddersfield did. We'll rough us up a little bit. And I think, again, we say it every time, but the first goal is massive. And if Leeds get that first goal, it gives them something to cling on to tomorrow. Obviously, there's an injured out over Barry Bannon, who kind of makes everything tick for Sheffield Wednesday. The pleasing aspect is Ian Pervader can't play. I think he's done really well at Hillsborough. I got a message from Naz Premji, the BBC reporter, BBC Sport reporter, who's a big Sheffield Wednesday fan. Said, let us win. I said, no, we need the points. And thankfully, Pervader can't play. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be an easy game. And I think it'll be very similar to the Huddersfield game on last Saturday.
Yeah, Paul saying that please that Pervader isn't playing. Hopefully Barry Bannon's there for them as well. It's going to be a late call with Barry Bannon. We'll cover that actually now in the team news. From a Sheffield Wednesday perspective, Ian Pervader cannot play because you cannot play against your parent club. Barry Bannon went off at half-time in their midweek game with a head injury. I've taken a pretty nasty whack to the head. However, Danny Rawle reckons he could be available. They are checking to see if it is a concussion or just a bang in the head. So, you know, the bone is sore, but there's actually no damage done. If it is concussion, he will miss the game due to the concussion protocol, which means he has to be out of training for at least 6 days. So, which means he would miss this game. It's not confirmed whether it's a concussion or not. Danny Rawle did say in his press conference that there will be a late check on Barry Bannon. He also pointed out that how important Barry Bannon is from a leadership perspective and from running the game for them in the centre of the park. Him being out of the team for them, he sees it as a big loss for them. Daniel Farke commenting on the game as well. He expects a very physical game, another physical game for Leeds United. Last time out, we had a 0-0 draw with them on September 2nd, but it was a game where Leeds missed a ton of chances in that game. Should have had a penalty, but it fell on Willie Gnonto. And a very different looking Leeds team back then as well, with Jamie Shackleton playing left back and Luke Ayling playing right back in that game as well. From a Leeds team perspective, some good news around Pascal Struijk. He is expected to be back in full training after the international break and will be part of the run. And Daniel Farke is saying he will be a major factor in Leeds United's running, and he will. He was very good for Leeds before he got injured, but there's a knock-on effect as well. Struijk coming back in means you've now got an option of Ethan Ampadu in midfield as well, which gives us more options in there as well. Archie Gray obviously now being a huge option in there as well, along with Connor Roberts playing very well at right back during the weekend. I'm just really excited about seeing with Connor Roberts so far. I've been really impressed with him. Jaden Anthony I think he is still out of this game. He dealing with personal issues. His mother was only buried last week. So he's, as you said before we came live, Andrew, he's been traveling up and down home because he's away from home right now. So the man's dealing with an awful lot of personal stuff, and my heart goes out to Jaden Anthony. He's been dealing with a really tough time, so I hope he's okay. More importantly than football, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's more things important that goes on in football, and Jaden's been so brave. He played against Plymouth, got a lovely goal. Got a yellow card for a role I do not understand when you show your shirt and you show your support for your family. So, yeah, plenty to sort of cheer the fact with team news. I think Shackleton's still out, isn't he, for this one, I believe?
He is still out, so he has concussion. That's why he was ill.
It's interesting that you mentioned the game back at Ellen Road in September. Do you know who came off the bench that day for Leeds?
No.
Jed Spence.
Oh, that was the debut, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's the game I got so excited about. It was like, oh, this is the player. This is the... Yeah. Then it all fell away.
And also making it debut that day was Glenn Kamara.
Yeah. Looked very good when he came on that game. It was very, very tidy. He has been tidy all year.
There you go. That was, as you rightly said, the team that day, you touched on it, was Melier in goal, back four of Ayling, Struijk, Roden and Shackleton, Ampadu and Gray in the holding, Somerville, Nonto, Peru, Jorginho. So we do owe them one. It's a game we probably should have won early on in the season, but it's an opportunity to get another win on the board in South Yorkshire tomorrow night.
Just a comment, unambiguous there. Big up to you, mate. Love the comments that you make. And on this one, even if we do lose, because I still expect Leeds to drop points between now and the end of the season, but I also expect all of the other teams, like Leicester, will have to play Southampton. Ipswich have Southampton. Sorry, so Leicester have Southampton and Ipswich, where Ipswich no, they don't. They have Southampton. Southampton have Leicester and Ipswich.
That's right.
So those teams, I'll sort my head out in a sec. Yeah, Southampton have Leicester and Ipswich. Ipswich have Southampton. Leicester have Southampton. So they will all take points off each other. There's also Ipswich and Norwich in there as well. Their games are going to get trickier. No one is going to go unbeaten for the rest of the season. Points will be dropped. So I don't think we're done just yet, but I do understand the nerves, mate, because they're there. All of us are a little bit nervous at the moment with the way the game's been coming. There's 10 games left. We're into that final stretch now. So yeah, hopefully we don't have to do that. But I wouldn't lose my mind if we drop points tomorrow. I really
No,
would.
teams are going to drop points, and I know we all know what Leeds fans like. If Leeds lose and Ipswich win at Cardiff on Saturday, the gap becomes 5 points all of a sudden with 9 games. So it is tough, of course. Yeah. But Ipswich have still got some very tricky games. They've got the East Anglian Derby to come at Carrow Road, and okay, Norwich got beat last night, but I think they got beat because they had a red card after being 1-up at Middlesbrough. They've still got Southampton to play at Portman Road, and I think Easter Monday is going to be humongous. Leeds, I think, I've got Hull City and Ipswich play Southampton, and then by then we'll have a much better idea of where we stand with it all. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, Farkas said it. Win your home games, draw your away games, and you'll finish on 96 points this season. And then you should be in a really strong position. So, but yeah, I still think if Leeds end up in the playoffs, given the start of the season that we had, I still fancy us to go up. I think I still fancy us against anybody.
And you've kind of got to remember where the club was in July and August when Fark came and was appointed. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And you look back at the team from the opening day of the season against Cardiff City, and I'll just read this team to you. This is what we look like on day one. Millier, Ayling, Kelder, Cooper, Stewart, Ampadu, Gray, Somerville, Sinistera, James, Nonto. On the bench, Byram, Cresswell, Pervada Ocampo, Pervada, of course, Gelhart, Sonny Perkins, Carl Darlow, Jamie Shackleton, Darko Diaby, and Lewis Bate. So that was the team on the day one of the new season.
Quite a lot of them not even in the club anymore.
Yes, we've come an awful long way.
Who starts up top tomorrow? I don't see any reason that we change Pat Bamford. I get the hype around Mateo Joseph. We talked on Joe's show last night about it. I understand it. I get it. He's 20. He's had one game against Chelsea. Yes, he was very good. Pat Bamford does an awful lot of stuff off the ball that's important to how Leeds are playing. Pat Bamford's hold of play, but the way he plays as a number 9 creates a lot of space for Georgie Rutter. So I get the excitement around Mateo Joseph, but I would much rather see Mateo Joseph come off the bench with 30 minutes to go and run whatever's left in the Sheffield Wednesday defenders into the ground. But I do understand that the sample size just for me and Mateo Joseph isn't big enough. I've been calling all season for him to start games, and now I'm in the position where I'm thinking this, and I agree with Joe on this. I don't think it's the right time to start messing around with things and trying things out. The big one for me with Mateo Joseph is this: he's very young. What if it doesn't go well? If he misses a sitter and Leeds lose the game, they outcry, and we've seen what a portion of our fan base can do with getting our players back. So for me, you stick with the experience right now. You stick with what's working right now. That's not to say Mateo Joseph doesn't get a start between now and the end of the season. I think he gets his chance. I think he gets his moments. But for this game against Sheffield Wednesday, who are going to kick lumps out of people tomorrow, I would rather go with Paddy to start, tire them out, and then bring Mateo on. That's what I would do. Not to say he won't start, but that's what I would do. But
and Paddy's got the experience, and nothing against Mateo Joseph is absolutely brilliant at Stamford Bridge. And I thought he was brilliant when he came out against Stoke City on Tuesday night. But Paddy's been there, done that, won promotion, and experience at this stage of the season is humongous. In amongst the changing room, when you've got your Coopses there, Stewie Dallas, I know he's in and around the first team. I know he's not involved at the moment, and so from a playing perspective, but experience is humongous at this stage of the season. I think having Patrick Bamford in that starting lineup, been there, done that, got promoted in 2020, knows what it's all about, and I think we'll probably see him start at Hillsborough tomorrow night.
I think people had realised when Pat came back into the team, people had started to realise what we missed when he wasn't in the team. And I think because he's been in the team for quite a while now, we're starting to forget that again. Maybe a little bit, there's a bit of recency in that. But for me, I think if you take him out of that team, you will notice him out of that team. And again, I'm trying to make this point last night in Joe's show. It's no slight against Mateo Joseph. You don't have to punch somebody down to elevate somebody else. You can still say, he's very good. I'm really excited about what he's going to do. But let's give the team time. And the most important thing for me is let's trust Daniel Farke. He sees him. He knows. He's done a great job with Gruev. We held him back, let him go. He did the same with Archie. Well, not same with Archie, but he's done the same with Willie Nonto this year, and he's got the best out of him when he's come into that team. Farke knows what he's doing. That's trust him. Bamford does start, get behind him, and if he doesn't start, get behind Mateo. That's spot on. One of them doesn't have to be punched down for the other one to be good. Correct. They're both very good, and they both bring their own things to the game. So yes, that's the injury stuff. Oh, outside of that, Farke talked about Jorginho Rutter and Chris Somerville and saying that as elite players, they now have to learn to deal better with the physical side of the game and being targeted by people getting kicked on a regular basis. Cree's had a few really tough games where he's been doubled up on and targeted. Georgie's struggled the last 2 games as well. And he said that they need to learn to deal with this. It's going to be part of their development and part of what happens to them in the future. So they've got to toughen up a little bit. Fark is saying where this is not the time for us to get soft. This is the time for us to dig in. So they'll have to deal with that. So they will get targeted tomorrow. They've been targeted all year. Stats, anything we need to keep an eye out for? Any milestones or statistics?
Just the main one for me is Leeds haven't won at Hillsborough since August 2016 under the then manager Gary Monk. Thanks to goals from Marcus Antonsen, who I remember him signing for us, thinking, crikey, we've signed a decent player here, and never really got a chance after that under Monk. And Chris Wood, who went on to score 30 goals that season. So that's kind of the main one to look out for. Paddy Bamford still needs a couple of goals to hit 60 for Leeds United, into 21st in the all-time list of Leeds United goal scorers. And of course, we're unbeaten away from home at the start of the year. We're looking to make it 6 unbeaten. 7 unbeaten away from at the start of the year. Should be unbelievable. So plenty to chew the fat over. It won't be an easy game. I think everybody knows that. But it's one of the games that a promotion's won when you go to your local derby. Big crowd, big night, under the lights at Hillsborough. Let's go for it. Let's get the 3 points.
Yeah, let's go get at them. Win the game. I keep saying it. Win the game. Yeah. Just win it. Move on. Win it. Move on. This is not. Try not to be emotional about things, but I was very emotional after the Stoke game, which is trying to calm myself down. Early goals going to be important in this game. We get an early goal. We dictate how the game goes. Yeah. We dictate how we play. What we don't want to see happen is us dropping off.
Yeah,
you know. I think there will be changes. I think Glenn Kamara is starting to struggle a little bit with the pace. And I go back to the fact that he hasn't had a preseason, and I think it's starting to catch up with him as well. Bit of a rest for him. Archie maybe going to midfield alongside Gruev. That's all right. And then you could see a change up top. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they changes Cree or Rutter. You could see Cree come in for Somerville. There's likely to be changes in the team for me, based on the amount of games they played in the last 10 days.
Absolutely. But looking forward to it. It's another game, another opportunity, and it's a chance to jump into second spot, albeit for 24 hours. But yeah, let's go there and let's put one over Sheffield Wednesday. I'm sure we owe them one after the goal of Shetland Road in September.
We absolutely do. Let's go put a number on the board and get 3 points and go home and enjoy the weekend and have 8 days of a rest before we have to go again. And that's a tough game coming up with against Neil Harris as well, his Millwall side. I was happy to play Millwall. I'm less happy to play a Neil Harris Millwall.
Yes, you know what you're going to get. That'll be another rough and tough game. But we'll worry about that come 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Yeah.
Fingers crossed everything goes well for us the weekend, folks. I'll be back in the morning with Leeds news. As always, today's Leeds news is floating around. If you want to check that out, there's some updates on the EFL situation with Leicester, as well as Leeds keeping an eye on a Fenerbahce winger and rumours around Brendan Aronson's future of the club being finished and the player potentially being put up for sale. You can check that out. If you've got a couple of minutes, go check that out. And we will wrap it up there. Stats, as always, mate, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking some time to talk to us. Any final words before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds 2, Jorginho, Rutter and Paddy Bamford to score the winner late on.
I'm going to sit on the fence with this. I think it'll be a 2-2.
Oh, I think a lot will go draw. I think a lot. I'm going to I don't want to tip the fence over with my weight, so I won't sit on the fence and I'll go 2-1 Leeds.
Fair play. Always positive. Folks, have a great evening. Peace out, and I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. See you then. Bye.